Yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. I need to talk about something that I don't normally talk about, but it's something that is genuinely making me angry. So I just watched a short about how. Oh, give me. I give a lowdown as to what I was doing. I was doing my daily doom scroll, as people call it, and I watched a short where I think it was Joe Rogan or whatever was talking about wolves being more dangerous or more clever or something like that than cougars or something like that. And he goes on to tell a story about how during World War One, the Russians and the Germans had a ceasefire just so that they could kill wolves because of the fact that they were killing soldiers and everything. And it had nothing to do with anything to do with the American population of wolves being completely wiped out or anything. And I go into the comment section, I read this one comment, and this guy is like, talking about how there's a reason that we wiped out the wolf population. People who want to bring them back are stupid. I want to bring something to the attention of those people. All right. I find it funny how normally when anybody mentions, hey, let's bring wolves back into this area, there's only two people who start complaining about it. It is hunters and livestock keepers. One of the two of them are the only ones that I genuinely understand why they're complaining. But to a point, there's also not really a reason for them to complain, and I'll explain why. All right. All right, so normally when you look at history, all right, you've noticed that a lot of animals have went extinct or almost went extinct. I remember when the elephant was on the verge of extinction. I remember reading that tigers were on the verge of extinction. Certain lions were on the verge of extinction. There's grizzly bears, I believe, are also on the verge of extinction. Black bears, polar bears are on the verge of extinction. And guess what? They aren't dying because of the fact that they're doing stupid stuff. They're dying because human beings don't know how to put their guns down and admire nature instead of wanting to kill it because it seems like it's a threat. But yet, we killed off wolves for a reason. Yeah, you killed them off because the fact that you couldn't stand, you hunting son of a bitch, you couldn't stand the fact that a wolf was actually hunting an animal to eat it instead of mounting it on its wall like you do. All right, I'm not going to say all hunters because I know for a fact we had a nurse who hunted a lot. And every time that they killed something, they only killed enough that they would have food to eat to last them until the next hunting season. There's a difference between that and just hunting for sport. Now, there are quote-unquote laws put in place to keep people from hunting for sport, but it doesn't stop them from doing it. We all know that, or at least we should. But the other one that gets me that complains a little bit, but I don't think I hear them complaining as much as I do the hunters, is livestock keepers. You know, they're worried about that their cattle or their goats, their sheep, stuff like that will, you know, be eaten by wolves. All right, but here's the funny thing. Even with wolves not being there, guess what they have to deal with? They have to deal with cougars, leopards, panthers, wherever you may live at. They still have to deal with an animal. So what are you going to do? You're going to wipe those out too? Wolves are the most hated animal in the animal kingdom because of the fact that they're smarter than any other animal. That is why they're hated. Well, I'm not going to say they're smarter than any other animal, but they're smarter than most predators because they hunt smart. They go for the weak animals, the animals that are older, the animals that are weaker or injured. Those are the ones they go for, the easy prey. They don't go for the strong ones. But yet, you hear hunters talking about all the time how wolves are a danger because of the fact that they kill populations and stuff. It depends. For one, it depends on the pack size. All right, if you've got a pack of wolves that only consists of 4 or 5, most of the time you're not gonna deal with, you know, you losing an entire population. Most likely, that entire wolf pack can kill 1 or 2 animals, or 1 or 2 deer, 1 or 2 elk, whatever, and they'll be fine. And they eat every single bit of it. They eat till they're full, and then they move on. And whatever they have left, a lot of times they'll bury it so that they can come back to it later. They're not stupid animals. I've said it a lot of times, and I will continue to say it. Wolves are some of the most misunderstood creatures out there. And the reason that they're misunderstood is because everybody thinks that the solution to dealing with wolves consists of a gun and a bullet. I would love to see wolves reintroduced everywhere in America and just see where they go. And if their population gets to a point to where, you know, they're killing a lot, yes, okay, kill this amount of wolves every year to make sure that, you know, and keep a count of how many wolves there are every year so that you can have a precise number of wolves that you're allowed to kill if you have to. Now, I hate the idea of killing wolves, period. All right, but I think the thing that aggravates me the most is the fact that human beings feel like they're entitled to the land that they have. Okay, here's the thing. When God created the world, He didn't create human beings first. He created every animal first. So even Adam and Eve were intruding on every animal's territory when they were created. But God also intended for us to share the land with the animals, not kill them because the fact that they're killing all the livestock or they're killing my hunting animal that I like to hunt. No. Okay. So when I hear hunters complain about the fact that they quote unquote killed off wolves for a reason, you know, can I use that same argument when I kill you? I killed you off for a reason. You know, in that case, we need to let every killer free because they have some reason for killing you. Hello, how are you? Like, you know, it aggravates me. That was a massive stutter. It aggravates me that people think that it's okay to murder, and I say murder because that's exactly what it is, murder a wolf pack because the fact that they're hurting a little bit of prey. All right, I understand it. You know, for a livestock keeper, every animal that dies is money they're not making. I understand that. Okay, but there are ways to keep that predator from killing your livestock. Other than just shooting and killing it. But again, I go back to the whole point that I was trying to make. Wolves only kill what they need to survive. Human beings, on the other hand, we destroy everything we see. Look at how many trees we cut down. All right, here, and this is actually... And, what was I saying? Damn it. I hate when I do that. Hold on. Okay, I had to rewind my own stream in order to understand what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, look how many trees human beings cut down, and every time we cut down a forest, guess what? We're getting rid of a deer's home. There's squirrels that live in there. There's a buttload of other animals that live in there. But that's okay. But the moment a wolf kills a deer, it's a problem. The moment a tiger kills an animal, it's a problem. Human beings are the biggest hypocrites that I have ever seen. Because we complain about one animal killing an animal, but you're genuinely killing an animal too, because the fact that you're going through and you're cutting down these trees without even trying to find out if there's animals that live there. Squirrels, deer, elk live in the forest. Raccoons, skunks. I could keep going if I had enough animal names. All these animals live in the forest and we're just cutting them down like it don't friggin' matter. But that's okay because we're human beings and we need the wood. But a wolf kills like one or two deer to eat. And it becomes a problem? Human beings are responsible for more animals going extinct than any other animal that's ever lived. Any other animal. But wolves are the problem, according to the hunters and the livestock keepers. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I would be quicker to take a bullet for a wolf than I would for a human being. And that's saying something. Because I have a understanding that wolves deserve the same ability to live without being in threat of being murdered because the fact that they're doing what comes naturally to them. And apparently other people don't understand that. Wolves aren't like human hunters. They don't go out and murder a deer just so that they can put a massive deer head with a buttload of antlers on their wall. They hunt that deer, they kill it, and they tend to eat everything. And here's the thing that gets me. Here's the thing, and I find it interesting. When Native Americans lived in the land that we are in right now, you want to know how they kept food on their plates? They kept track of where the bison, a lot of Native Americans hunted bison, some of them hunted deer, others hunted different things. They kept track of the movement of these animals through the seasons and everything. And they never had an issue with hunting. Never. And wolves barely got killed by Native Americans. I mean, yeah, a lot of Native Americans, when they do their dances, they do have wolf skins because of the fact that they might have had to kill a wolf here and there. But they're not out murdering these animals. They lived in harmony with nature because they understood nature. They understood how to move around with nature, and they understood the movements of the animals, and they would just follow where the food went through the seasons, through the year. They would follow it so that they could come back with plenty of food to feed the tribe. Why can't modern human beings be like that? Instead of murdering a population of an animal that's just trying to survive, how about you follow where the food goes? The Native Americans did it, and a lot of them survived just fine. I'll put it this way. If a wolf ever came onto my property, I wouldn't bother it. Especially if it was a single wolf. Because here's the thing, most likely that single wolf is a lone wolf, and most likely it's just doing its best to stay alive. Lone wolves, especially when it comes to the hierarchy that wolves have, a lone wolf is less likely to survive in the wild than being in its own pack. So keep that in mind. So you killing or darting or whatever that wolf, you're not doing anything. You're just basically killing it. It's already making it hard enough for it to survive. Wolves haven't been in my state in bukus of years. But when Native Americans lived here, the Cherokee especially, guess what one of their spirit animals are? A wolf. The Cherokee lived here in my state. Alright? And they had a wolf as a spirit animal. That tells me everything I need to know. My state used to have wolves in it. It doesn't now. You don't see wolves down here where I'm at. The only place you see wolves, you have to go up there near Canada, Montana, and stuff like that, in Yellowstone Park if you ever intend on seeing a wolf, because of the fact that human beings wipe them out. That's what pisses me off. Human beings claim that wolves are dangerous, but yet we don't see how dangerous we are. Wolves are a lot more predictable than people give them credit for. Especially a lone wolf. Lone wolves will most likely dig through your trash. Lone wolves will try and find something to eat. If you have dogs, yes, lock them up and keep them safe. But a lone wolf is less likely to attack you than a pack of wolves. People think wolves are stupid. They're not. They understand that humans are a danger to them. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Chris. I'm glad someone understands. People just think that wolves are dangerous just by default because the fact that they have fangs and they have teeth and they have claws. Let's see. Where's my dogs? They have the same thing and they live here. Like what? Like, please explain to me. All right, what the difference is between a pit bull or yeah, we'll go pit bull that has so many different breeds of dogs in it going after you and killing you. What is the difference between that and a wolf? Please explain. What's the difference between my dog Buddy, who's attacked me because of that? I've aggravated him, by the way, and that's the point I'm going to get to. What's the difference between my dog Buddy, who's bit me, let's see, 1, 2, I think there's a scar somewhere else, 3, 4, so many different times, because the fact that I've agitated him now. What's the difference between him and a wolf? He's still here. I would not kill my dog. I would not kill a wolf. And here's why. You got to agitate a wolf in order for it to attack you. You have to make it feel threatened in order for it to attack you. If it doesn't feel threatened, it's not going to fucking fuck with you. Excuse my language, but it's not going to mess with you. That is the thing people don't understand. Humans kill because we can. The Native Americans didn't do that, and that's why I would side with the Native Americans over the modern lifestyle. Because of the fact that they understood that. We don't. I mean, I do, but a lot of people don't. Exactly why I keep telling people, I'm going to get me. That's why I keep telling people I'm going to get me a wolf dog when we get our house or I get my own place. And I do intend on doing that. A 98% wolf, and it's going to be a male. And you want to know the one thing that people keep telling me? Get a female. The male's going to try and dominate you. It's a natural instinct to dominate, for one. And two, if I raise that wolf from a pup, I severely doubt that it will try anything stupid. I know a guy who owns a guy wolf dog. I watch him on YouTube, and that dog acts more, that dog acts more like a husky than it does a wolf. The only difference is he growls a lot. But, again, that's another thing. People think when wolves growl, they're angry. No, wolves don't bark. That's the fun fact. Wolves don't bark. They growl. You just have to figure out which one of the growls is a dangerous one. And which one's the one of, hey, I love you, You gotta... People don't understand this stuff. They don't look into it. I've always loved wolves, and then come to find out, my dad loved wolves, but nowhere near as much as I did. But, wolves are misunderstood. And I will continue to say that. Wolves have always been perceived as the bad guy. I mean, look at how many stories have, like, folk tales and storybooks have the wolf is the bad guy. The Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. A Little Red Riding Hood. Trying to think of other ones. But yeah, I intend on getting a wolf dog, and most likely I'll make another YouTube channel or something about that wolf dog. And I will do my very level best to get the most, and I will tell people that this wolf dog is going to be raised to be more like a wolf than a dog, and I intend on doing that. Thank you, Gus. And I fully intend on doing that, and there's a reason behind it. I want people to see that wolves, and a wolf dog is going to have its natural instincts anyway. But wolves are a lot like humans when it comes to compassion. The only difference is, and I've always found this interesting, wolves have one mate. When that mate dies, that's it. They don't mate for the rest of their life. They will die before they sleep with another animal, so to say. Too bad human beings don't act like that, am I right? Let's see, what else? Wolves have a hierarchy. The alpha, then the beta, and then the omega. The alpha, of course, everyone knows, is the leader of the pack. The beta is kind of like in the in-between. And the omega, funny enough, they are the ones that are meant to start playfulness. They're the ones that are meant to keep calmness in the pack. And it's funny to me that that's how wolves work. Wolves have a more complex working than any human being does. But yet we keep wanting to kill them off instead of learning from them. But yeah, I wanted to touch on that, and I know I've probably yapped for it I've yapped for like 30 minutes of this. This is nice. But I'm sorry, I cannot stand it when people say that wolves are dangerous. Damn. It be gone. Huh. Oh well, don't care. They took it. They can keep it. I don't want it. Never did. Human beings will never see themselves as the monsters. They never will, and I don't foresee it ever happening. But anybody want to join? I'm going to activate boosters. I'm going to screw myself over. Whee! Yes. Aw. Fine, Chris. I see how you are. I'm just trying to get rid of the boosters, honestly. Oh boy, I get to go get murdered in a 2-3 tank destroyer. This ought to be fun. But yeah, like, I hate that wolves get such a bad rep. I mean, look at, like, if you really look into, like, I'm a big fan of werewolves too. And I've looked into, like, all of the lore of, like, where the origin of a werewolf comes from. And apparently all it was there was a massive wolf. I can't remember where it was. And people thought it was like a werewolf or whatever, and so they made up the legend of the werewolf, and then the werewolf became a bad guy in the stories. But one of the things I have to say that I absolutely love about a lot of the werewolf TV shows and movies, I'll use the horrible example of Twilight. The werewolves tend to try and be the good guys a lot of times. Like, another good example, horrible animation as far as the CGI for the wolves, but the British TV show Wolf Blood, the wolves are trying to be the good guys here, and the human beings are being the bad guys. Again, a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of another one. There's so many, not really, but another really good one. Wolf Children. That's an anime. Again, the wolves are just trying to. Well, they're more like werewolves, but one of them decides they want to be a human instead of being a wolf. The other one decides that they want to be a wolf instead of a human. They were given that choice, but neither one of them wanted to hurt anybody. There's so much smoke, I can't see what a tank is and what ain't a tank. Holy Panzer. That was mean. And I love how the Zis 30 kills me. Owie. I got murdered by a child. And now nobody's here, so I'm just talking to myself. This is nice. It's okay, I'm used to it now. No, you said you didn't want to play with me. Because the fact I had boosters on, like, that makes a big difference when you play with me. They got anti-air up already. How is it they've already managed to get anti-air up? And funny enough, alright, well that was a failure. I should have known that one was coming. Dang it, Martyr, stop surviving! Thank you. Okay, that oh no, airplane! I was gonna say that anti-air is starting to get on my nerves, and then that came in and murdered me. I was like midway through a turn. There was no way I was gonna survive that anyway. And my dogs are going crazy. My mom must be here. Hold on. No, I already have the M55. I researched it already. And plus, I like the M55 too much to not play it. I'm about to drive over to this man's house and say hello. I hear another aircraft. Oh, that's friendly. Never mind, we're good. There he is. Thought he was somewhere. So many trees are getting chopped down just from me trying to kill him. Also, this is his 30 somewhere, so I gotta be careful. I don't know which ones are worse, this 30s or BT7s. Also, give me a second. Guys, I'll be back. I gotta feed and change my brother.